Welcome to another edition of Mining Life Online, conversations with some of today's most exciting and influential leaders in the world of mining. Brought to you by Canadian TradeX, Central Canada's most prolific trade show producers. Book your booth for our next show today, before your competition does. And now, here's today's show.
So if I read things correctly, it looks like you are getting ready to kickstart exploration again?
Yes. Yeah. So I think there's also going to be a press release by the time you issue this report, which will be tomorrow morning before market opens, that we are sort of letting everybody know through a press release that we are starting our activities. We've started it as of this past Monday. It's just that the drilling will start sometime this weekend. So yes, we're going back. Of course, the amount of time that they've given us to prepare, it's a gradual ramp up to where we were pre-COVID shutdown, but we're hoping to get there. So
yeah. So the plan, the last time we talked, the plan was about a $3 million expenditure per month for the year. Obviously, you've had to modify that, but it's still on a monthly basis. I'm guessing it still looks about the same.
Yeah, I think in terms of meters that we had planned for the year, we were supposed to be doing 100,000 to 120,000 meters for this year. Up to March 23rd, we'd in fact been right on our guidance. We drilled 26,000 meters in the first 2.5 months of the year. But now with this COVID, we think that by the end of the year, we'll be able to complete about 80,000 meters out of that 100 to 120,000 meters. So it sort of set us back a little, but not as much as people may have expected. More importantly, now with the addition of the Balmoral that we purchased, with that, we still going to have probably close to 100,000 meters drilled this year.
And does it change your targets, the targets that you were planning in for 2020? Now that the Balmoral deal is complete, does that change where you're going to target your drilling?
No. So our primary focus will still be Fenelon. The majority of even the drilling outside of where we are at Fenelon will still be in the neighboring properties which Balmoral owned prior to this acquisition. So our focus still going to be increasing the existing mineralized zones that are going to turn into a deposit, hopefully by mid-year next year. Addition of Balmoral properties will provide us with opportunities to be able to add to that rather than just change our focus.
I get the sense, and I can almost sense it from your demeanor, that things are getting a little more serious.
No, not at all. No. It's just I think the issue with us is that this week, obviously, we also had our board meeting yesterday, and there's a lot of other things that are going on. I don't normally get involved in those, but certainly with with this remote working, there was a few things in here. No, I'm still as cheerful as I was last week and the week that the week's gonna come. You know me.
So in reading the document that you prepared for this week, you indicated that the assay labs are a little bit backed up in terms of being able to get you the results that you were looking for. So is that
So up to the end of March or March 23rd, we had drilled roughly about 26,000 meters. That none of those results have been announced yet, but most of the assays are coming in. The assay labs, obviously, because of the COVID, they're also in a sort of a slowdown mode. But we believe that in the next week or two, we'll be able to announce all of the results up to that date that we had to shut down. So the market is our investors are going to be able to see the results basically up to date, and then we'll continue providing results on the drilling as we start drilling next week.
And when we started the conversation, when we first connected today, you talked about there being some additional interest. So you're spending a considerable portion of your time talking to other investment organizations.
Mm-hmm. Well, typically, these days, Kevin, there's not a lot of junior companies that are as active as we are. We're probably one of the most active companies as far as exploration in Canada. To have even that large of a program. Even Osisko had it larger than us, but I'm not sure exactly if they're still as much as they were last year. So because of that, and because of the fact that we're fully funded, we're sitting pro forma with Balmoral, roughly about $55 million in our treasury, which is a pretty good situation considering these uncertain times and also the junior market as a whole. So as a result, there is more of even some of the generalist funds that in the past never really invested in gold mining companies had started about a couple of months ago starting to invest in gold equities. Obviously, the way it works, typically it starts with the majors and then sort of trickles down through time into the explorers and the developers. And I think we're now seeing some of those in generalists' interest into the company. So as a result, there's more demand for us to tell our story to different funds that perhaps in the past they didn't have as much interest.
Well, and I think it's obvious for anybody that's paying attention to Wallbridge. It also doesn't hurt that you have a very serious investor in Eric Sprott, who shows
and Kirkland Lake Gold.
And Kirkland Lake Gold, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the combination of the two of them give you, I think, sort of a leg up, like you said, on other companies that are in the same space right now.
Yes. And also the results. It's not just a matter of drilling, but the results that have been coming out of the exploration drilling that we're doing.
So Eric, over the last few weeks, is talking very, very ambitiously and aggressively about the whole area and he's calling it a camp. Now, I know he's an investor, and I know that he has a particular view on the camp. So when you're put on the spot about that, how are you wrestling that particular comment with? Because it's a very big one. Suggesting that it's a potential another Kirkland Lake, but perhaps Timmins.
He's echoing what we say, that it's like owning the Larder Lake camp or the Timmins camp 100 years ago. There is very little exploration in this belt. But we know that wherever there's been exploration efforts or development efforts, it's been successful. I mean, Detour is on one end of it. Our Fenelon is at the other end, and you got 75 kilometers of property in between. One or two of them have been drilled by Balmoral. One of them is their Martinier project that we now own, that already has demonstrated 600,000 ounces of gold and really only been drilled down to 300 meters. You see other properties along that belt. So it's almost like owning those kind of a famous belts, if you may. That's why Eric calls it a camp. I call it the district type scale potential in here. It's not just the Fenelon. We know that this is a large gold system that's within this Sunday Lake Deformation Zone, or what we call the Detour Fenelon trend now. And I see a lot of potential for this to have many, many head frames on it.
And one of the things that you had indicated in your MD&A report this week was that you seemed to be a little bit concerned about the availability of people out in the field. Is that a fairly big concern?
Well, it all depends on where the gold price is, but we've seen that kind of a cycle. In 2007, most of the equipment manufacturers had an 18-month to 2-year backlog of work. And the workforce was in demand, and the prices had gone up. So we see that the gold price is approaching $1,800 and maybe even beyond $2,000. Certainly creates more activity in the exploration in the camps, especially in northern Ontario and northern Quebec. So that was something that we put as our risk factors.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you've been successfully able to accomplish over the last several years as well is the bulk sampling and having the kind of ore that can help to finance some of the ongoing operations. Is that part of the go forward plan as well?
So we've applied for a 500 ton a day production just from our main Gabbro zone, which is where we actually took the bulk sample. We don't know when the permits are going to come. We expect it sometime by the end of this year. Look, at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for the company to be able to generate some free cash flow instead of, diluting the shareholders, if that's what it takes, especially in uncertain times. So once that the permit is come, we'll make that decision whether we should focus on a 30 or 40,000 ounce a year production, or do we carry on with exploration, trying to expand and develop this larger project, which is a multi-million ounce potential at this stage.
So have I missed anything, or have I mischaracterized anything, and is there anything that you wanted to sort of add to what's happening with Wallbridge right now?
No, I think just letting everybody know that this is a exploration company that is fully funded, has got a large land package that's prospective, it's got supporting shareholders, and it's got momentum with a large exploration program. From an investment point of view, it checks all the boxes. So we're very, very excited about it, and I think the future is going to be pretty bright for our shareholders and ourselves.
Terrific. So Marz, thanks for joining us at
No problem. Thanks.
Mining Life Online, and we'll talk to you again soon.